Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs Audio review. Before I get started, if you do pick up music in the background, that is Massive Attack, because I feel like I've had about 6 of them in the past few weeks. I just wanted to give them a shout out, because for a band that's, you just want to chill, like Massive Attack is the definition of frickin' chill. Some pretty good dance grooves there, too, I think. But anyway, we are going to talk about the Myer-Audio CKLVX, next one out in the line. This is the CK2V, and it is something. I'll tell you that right at the gate. It is something. I just realized I'm going to have to look up the specs online, so bear with me while I do that, but we'll intro as we go. Myer-Audio set. This is the first set we're going to talk about that is a microplanar for the upper and ultra treble area, right? So I did actually comp 3 of them. I mentioned in the community section that we did the Phoenix call because that was like the original-ish kind of thing, kind of setup. Canary Celeste and the recently reviewed EPZ P50, and that set I underrated it, and I know I kind of raved about it anyway because I did really like it, but going back to it and listening to the ME600 and listening to the SLA3 and listening to it's just, it hangs. It's a damn good set. Anyway, yeah, not to get too sidetracked because we are talking about Myer-Audio here, but yeah, those were the comps, and I think they did, I would say it comped very well, and I would also say that it comped price-wise pretty freaking appropriately. Like, they kind of nailed the price point. If I'm taking, the Phoenix call at $130, $129, and I'm taking the EPZ at roughly $240, $250, and the CK2V runs $180, that's dead center between the two, roughly, more or less. Close enough. Yeah, and I feel like that's where it lands in a very competitive landscape of $200 IEMs. This isn't $200, it's $180. Sorry, but in that area, it freaking competes. It's pretty freaking stellar. But it's not perfect. It did not impress me more than the SLA3 did in a lot of ways. Didn't really impress me that much more. A little bit. And it didn't impress me more than the P7 or the ME600. I keep trying to forget that. And then just reintroducing myself to the P50. Yeah, it's almost there. It's close enough. I get ahead of myself. Alright, so let's check out the specs here. I'll just grab Ali really quick because I should be logged in. I know it's 2 microplanars. I know it's 2 BAs. I think it's 1 DD, 2 BAs, and 2 microplanars, if I'm not mistaken. My God, Ali, how many ads do you have up right now? Seriously. Oh, there it is. Search CK2V. Look at that. Perfect. Myer-Audio official. Sale price currently $179.33. Hey, what happened? I must have zigged when I should have zagged. Hold on here. Yes, I did. Okay. So, sorry. Hopefully the music kept you entertained there for a couple of seconds. Let's see. Specs-wise. Love this. Alright. 20 to 20, nothing special there. Da-da-da-da-da. No sensitivity, no resistance. That's okay. It should be right down here. Okay, impedance is 40 ohms, so yeah, it's a higher impedance set. Sensitivity 108 decibels to, I would say, pretty well balance that out. It doesn't, it gets loud. You don't need a ton of power to drive it, but with a 40 ohm set, if you've got something more than just, the EPZ or one of those guys, you're probably better off. I'm just going to say that. Yeah, the nozzle size, 6.2 millimeters. Yeah, it's pretty big. All right, so my bad. It's 2 BAs per side, so it's 1 DD, 4 BAs, not 2, 4, and 2 microplanars. So yeah, lots of drivers in there. Lots of drivers, and the set's better for it in my opinion. I like the implementation and the tuning once again. Okay, so I have no complaints there. Now, I wasn't sure how this was going to necessarily go right away, but insofar as the drivers, Hazy or Hazy, I don't know if you're like Haz or Haz or Haze, Hazy? Maybe Hazy. Anyway, pointed out that earlier Myer-Audio sets or possibly definitely, because I think he opened one, had Belsing balanced armature sets in it, or maybe they called them custom, but he recognized them as that, and apparently those are like pretty inexpensive. And okay, doesn't mean that they suck. It just means it's probably not top of the line stuff. This, two things. All right, one, I don't care about what BAs are in here. I mean, I should, but I don't, because they sound like the BAs in the SLA3, so they sound like they're Knowles. Or if they're not, they're Knowles clones. They're really nice, like facsimile of a Knowles balanced armature. Fine. Okay. 10 millimeter custom dynamic driver. There's not a ton of information here. I guess you could probably dig in and find more out. What I'm trying to say is, if Knowles can put out crappy BAs, then Belsing can probably put out good BAs. And my guess is that they were keeping cost in mind. It was their first couple of IEMs, and they were like, okay, let's see if there's anything that we can work with from this company, because they seem to be less expensive than Knowles and obviously Sonyan and others probably. And so my opinion is the BAs they picked out are good, and they tested them, so they knew what they were going to do really well versus maybe just okay. So it's also about selection. It's about unit selection, about the model that you're using from that particular producer. It matters. So what I think is that they kind of maybe got cream of the crop or best of the best drivers from Belsing in the beginning, because two things. One, I don't believe with just tuning you can overcome a bad driver. I don't think that that's possible. I think you can compensate for it. I think you can bring out the best of it, but if it's bad, I don't see how there's any way to mask that. I mean, that kind of comes down to physics, right? Like if the thing's rattly or sizzly or sparky, or what am I looking for? That word always evades me. Staticky. You'd know that. You can't cover that. Like I've heard some really shitty IEMs, okay? I mean, like stuff that I've sent back immediately, or if it was free, then it's somewhere. I'm never going to listen to it again. Like I've gotten some doozies, man, let me tell you. So no, these are not bad drivers. I mean, these I think are Knowles or close enough. Even back the CKD41 and the Slevo SL41 and Mark II, if those were the drivers being utilized in those, if they were Belsings, but they were nicer Belsings, they were still 0.2. It took me long enough to get there. The tuning is so good that it does make up for a slightly inferior driver. And I think both things can be true. I don't think they have to live in separate worlds. So that's what my guess is. Really good driver selection by the engineering and design team, and really good implementation by the sound engineers and the tuning experts. There we go. Review over. So yeah, the specs are going to, cool 40 ohm resistance or impedance and 108 decibel sensitivity. Yeah, I didn't find them super hard to drive. I did find the box super hard to open. Let's see. Ear tips, nice ones again. Black and clear silicone, and a couple of foams in there as well. Also, Also, where is it? It's here. There's a 3.5 millimeter single-ended termination, which of course, oh, I put it back in the case. Yes, of course I lost it. Yeah, so you've got a modular cable. All right, let's get this out of the way. Look at how bent up. I don't know if you could see this, but like yeah, this is me trying to get this sleeve off. It's ridiculous. I don't know how. So there you go. And another one. You know, this is just like the SLA 3 cable. Also similarly like matched to the IMs really well, I feel like. Really well. Faceplate on this one is also very nice. But anyway, so let's get cable. Cable is, it's probably just your standard, you know, 4 maybe 5N. Single crystal silver plated copper, I'm guessing. It is a nice cable, again, and appropriate for the price point. I've seen more expensive sets with a lot worse than this. Feels a little bit like maybe a thinner IVIPQ kind of cable feel to it. Some of their cables anyway. Yeah, yep. Recessed 2-pin on the connection point. So of course the cable is a recessed 2-pin to match. And it is a solid fit. Like, yeah, they're not going anywhere. They don't feel like they're pushing anything apart. They're just, you know, nicely done. And the DD vent. No BA vents this time. Hazy buddy. Yeah, these are probably going to build up on you a bit. Don't think you're going to think, oh, they fixed that problem. No. It's not a problem for me. I can definitely see it could be a problem for some. I'm pressure sensitive. I thought I was really pressure sensitive, but apparently I'm not super pressure sensitive, or it varies on the set or whatever. These didn't bother me. Go figure. Can't really figure. I don't know. So yeah, build and fit on these are excelente. Yeah, nice size shell. Relatively small considering that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers per side. However, you know, 2 of those are microplanars, 4 of those are BAs. They did a nice job in keeping this shell size nice and reasonable in size, medium size, very comfortable fit. Very well done. Oh yeah, I was kind of all over the place with the tips. I liked how a lot of things sounded. I finally got my Pennon L tips, so just to let, who was it? Somebody was like, dude, come on. So I got some, and I like them a lot, honestly. They're sticky, they're tacky, you know, you have to be ready for that. But they are comfortable, great seal, yeah. So I like those on this set a lot too. Ended up with the TRNT because I hadn't had them in a while. Just like, let's try them out. It sounded good. No tip preference for me. Yeah, I don't know. Probably stick with medium to wider bore. Unless you like it the other way. You know, I mean, it's such a personal thing. But let's get into what they sound like. So that'll help you make your decision probably. Well, listening to them will too. Let's bring these guys up because REW, I think I've been saving some of my graphs in the wrong place, like temp instead of like a permanent folder on my, you know, laptop, desktop. So they're gone, but luckily I've got photos of them. So here is our graph. CKLVX CK2V. Left is purple, right is green. Let's just tell you this: the green would be the lower of the 2 lines until you get to the top of the ear gain, and then they switch places for the most part. Really nice channel matching, honestly. Massive, heavy hitting sub bass. Massive. Like massive. Did I say massive? Seriously, I mean, just what? I'm a fan. I like that amount of sub bass. That doesn't bother me one bit. I get those drops on my songs like Agony that come through and just rattle my brain, and I like it, you know. I am a quasi bass head. That's the term now, right? Quasi. We're not full. We're not closeted. We're quasi bass head. Kind of depends. Bass is extraordinarily well done on this. If you're a sub bass fan, was it Valerie? I think, I think Val. I think you were the more sub bass over mid bass in your preferences. That's gonna hit the right way. Mids are fine, just fine. No, not recessed. It looks like it. If you leveled this bass shelf off a little bit, it would not look as recessed perhaps as it does. But 1K to 3K, it's a fairly big jump, 6, 7, 8 decibel. And then the treble. I mean, this is one of the sweetest releases into a treble that I've experienced, both in graph and visually and audibly. It's just so smooth. I don't know, I feel like when I say smooth, people are like, well, then, the details. Like, what about the details? It's fine. Like, just listen. Just listen for the details. They are there, okay? The tests I have, around 650 of descending, the bells, like the chimes in the background, like, boom, right? Like, I didn't have to listen for them. They were just there. And then you hear them at the beginning, and then they fade, and then they come back, and then they fade. Like, you hear that whole sequence with them, that whole second or second and a half. Like, it's quick, but you catch it. It's there. This is very presented, just as it should be presented. They're not going to hide anything. There was and I wish I knew the song and the timestamp and all that stuff, but there was a song on War of Being by Tesseract where I thought the microplanars on the right side had a bit of a flutter. Like they sounded a little bit like, and then I listened to other music and I was like, they're fine. And I went back, I listened to the song again, picked it up again, and I was like, oh yeah, this is just like what happened with Pneuma on Fear Inoculum. Like close to the beginning of that song, like you get static. It's just you get some static pops, and they're there. It's kind of a little, and then it's like gone. Then it pops a little bit, and then it's gone, and you never hear it again. It's like you almost hear like a filter change or something in the background. Whoever's doing the mixing. So. Not the set, the song. And yes, I went back and checked Pneuma, and it was there too. So, yeah, they pick stuff up. They pick stuff up, whether it's good or bad. They're gonna pick it up and show it to you. The nice thing about it is they're not super intense. They're just not. They're pretty laid back. They do remind me a bit of the. Thank you very much. P5+2, Ifu Performer 5+2, aka the P7, definitely came to mind when I was listening to these. What else? Yeah, the Phoenix Call, like if we bring that up. Let's bring that up. P50, Phoenix, there we go. Okay. Alright, so the Phoenix here, bring this out, is kind of like just all over the place. I mean, it's up and then whoa and then up and then holy cow, it still sounds good. It's Canera, it still sounds good, but man, when they attack the ear gain like that, holy shit. Yeah, it's a different, the Phoenix Call's a different beast. It's a different beast. Sounds good, completely outclassed by the Myer-Audio set. Maybe not completely, but mostly outclassed. Like definitely $50, $60, $70 more outclassed it, in my opinion. But yeah, they're vastly different in the bass, especially, and in the mids, and in the ear gain, and in they get some similarity back in the treble, in the mid to upper treble. But hey, girl, you can tell it's late night because Odessa's up on my lap. Good comparison, good reference point. because of the similarities between the two sets and their configuration. But mostly I was going after the microplanars, taking care of the, mid to upper treble. So, yeah, different sets for sure. Let's see what else we got here. We have... Oh, there's one more I wanted to show y'all. P50. There we go. P50. This is closer. This is closer. Yeah, the sub bass is absolutely crushed by the CK2V. But, the P50, the way it presents the bass, it doesn't feel like it's lacking. It's just not massive. It's just really well done. And, same thing with them. Everything about this set, and they do gain similarities when you get to the ear gain and into the treble. Like you could see, obviously, the P50 is a little bit more focused in this area. Upper mids, lower treble, mid treble. Like that's kind of where it's aiming for. The Meyer's definitely like it's got the Meyer DNA all over it. Whatever they do to their dynamic drivers is just ridiculous. So very impressed. Very impressed. Listen, guys, I'm a little off my game. I'm giving this a highly recommended. I don't think it's going to be too long before another review comes out. This is not going to be the series finale. We'll put it that way. It might be a season finale. There might be a couple 3 weeks off. Daddy's got to take care of some business. Daddy's got to take care of the wife and the kiddo. And I'm going to put my best foot forward and hope for the best. Things are okay here. They're fluid. They're not settled. But you're telling me there's a chance. No, it's not like that. We're going to see if we can work things out. I guess that's the best way to put it. And my wife's not an asshole. Like, she was never like about to put me on the street. Like, you would have to be kind of an asshole to put your currently disabled, like unable to support himself, recovering alcoholic husband, like into a homeless shelter. That would be a pretty shitty thing to do to anybody, honestly. So yeah, but it wasn't like that either. That was never going to be an option. So don't worry about that. Yeah, I had a few massive attacks this week. What's going on in America ain't helping out much either lately. Although I think some people like it. Not getting into it. Suffice to say, I appreciate all of you for sort of coming to my side and supporting me. I know several of you who know me better than others knew something was up pretty much right away. And don't worry. It's going to be good. I'm not going to get into much detail. It is a YouTube video about audio equipment. But let's just say this, I still have skin in the game. We're just going to see how it goes. I'm putting my best foot forward and making my very best effort. It's really important to me. Channel's coming in a little close second here, so that's why I got to back off a little bit. Daddy's got to take care of some business. Okay? That's not... I still have people sending... Svorzable sent me the Explorer, so that's coming in. I still have a Tangzu set I haven't done. I know nobody gives a shit, but I still have the Fidelio X3s to do. I've got the Shozy B10. That's going to be a 5-minute deal, by the way. And yeah, I do like it a lot. We'll get to the recommendation or not for that video, which I might just do next. Yeah, for now, steady she goes, life, it comes that you can get nailed, you can get just, all I can tell you is you gotta ride the wave. It's the best advice ever told to me, and I don't even remember who said it. Sometimes shit gets this bad, you just gotta ride the wave. Ride the wave. It'll get better. If you put the effort in, it's gonna get better. Hey, I got no guarantees here. Let's be clear. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna put the effort in. Alright. Much love to y'all. Seriously, you guys are freaking awesome. I love you. I look forward to seeing you a few days, maybe a week at the outside, but probably not that long. For now, be careful, be safe, be nice. Love y'all. Nothing but peace to you. We'll see you.